Hello and welcome to Apocalypse Keys. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse inspired game. It is done by Sword of Queen Games and Evil Hat Productions. Um, I am your key master, Starshare Stories. I go by she, they. I run this lovely channel called The Starfield. And you can find me under most iterations of Starshare Stories on most corners of the internet, such as Blue Sky, TikTok, Discord, and I think and Instagram and Threads. Um I also host a bunch of other shows on this channel, such as Gen Meta. I host them. Werewolf the Apocalypse, anything World of Darkness. And you can also eventually find me on Gehenna Gaming's official channel for a mini series of their Eldritch Automata game, and it is going to be called Violence Against Nature. Um, I would love to announce the crew. It is Sphinx Akasha, Madness Diamond, myself, Blackwell, Renowned, myself, and our lovely events coordinator at Gehenna Gaming, known as Eric, and it is ran by a GM known as Just Kyle. Tune in for whenever that's gonna air. I don't know when it's gonna air, but we are here, and we are going to start with Canterbury, who's going to be played by Basil.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Basil. My pronouns are he, they, z. I'm playing Canterbury Bell. They, them. They just go by Canterbury. Nobody uses their full name except their terrible handler. Canterbury is basically just, a little person just trying to do their best, but they're burnt out and tired and probably on their 10th pot of coffee. You can find me pretty much mostly Blue Sky. I have a Twitter, but it's dead now. It's still there, but I don't post. So you can find me on Blue Sky. I also have a website, towerofbasil.wordpress.com. When I'm not doing actual plays, I design my own games. You can find those on Itch. I'm on Blue Sky as Kobania, and that's the same thing for the Itch. So excited and happy to finally play Apocalypse Keys. First time. Woo!
Raka, aka Mara.
Hello, my name is Mara. My pronouns are they, she. First of all, you can find me most places on the internet at Mara F Games. I currently play in a Monster of the Week actual play called The Art of Resistance, which is just about wrapped up. I also pop up in one-shots here or there, and I'm looking forward to getting into more APs as time goes on. I play Raka, who is the Fallen playbook for Apocalypse Keys. Her full name is Arakaste, the goddess of victory and success, or rather, the fallen goddess of victory and success. She is very tall and has 4 arms and it incites a bit of terror into most mortals she comes across. Yeah, they're monstrous. Yeah. And that is Raka.
Sassy, aka Zoop.
Hey, I'm Zoop or Zoop Machine or Supriya. You can call me whatever you want, but don't call me late to the launch. I want to get out of this world. No, I'm kidding. So you can see what I'm doing if you check out my card, zoopmachine.card.co, and Zoop Machine is the title that you can find me pretty much all over the internet. I would say my big permanent gig right now is I am going to be having my debut soon as co-DM of Game Master Monday, the podcast, where we play a new TTRPG almost every week. Sometimes there's miniseries. And I'm very excited about that. And I also show up on a whole bunch of different channels, including this one. And I really love games. I am playing Sasquatch, the Last Bigfoot. Sassy is 7 foot 2 inches tall, a broad woman, with you guessed it, big feet. And she has long black hair, dark skin with vertigo. Instead of white patches, she has dark patches, very much void colored throughout her body. And she's often seen wearing a whole suit of furs, looking a little bit like a Wookiee, or perhaps what you know as Sasquatch. Oh, her pronouns are she, her, and so are mine.
Welcome back to another episode of our Apocalypse Keys actual play. Last where we left off, Canterbury was in the hallway hearing Raka and Sassy talk after Canterbury went on a little bit of an adventure by themselves. I would say an involuntary adventure. Learned some things about Raka. And Raka and Sassy are realizing that timelines are not as they seem, and time is a construct, not linear. The cat rubs against Canterbury before entering the computer room where the rest of the other two are.
Oh, you're back.
I've been here the whole time, Sassy. I definitely didn't go anywhere. Though it's very nice to see you. And Canterbury just kind of reaches out and just kind of gives Sassy like a very awkward but like full of like positive intent, like trying to be friendly but totally failing at it, trying to like just sort of trying to stroke her arm, but it's like this awkward I've never pet an animal before kind of motion, and then being like this is a person. It's just it's like too many fingers, too much like weird hand movements. But like, yeah, I've been here the whole time. We've all been looking at that thing over there.
I know in one timeline we were all here, but in two of the timelines you weren't.
Weird. I mean, I may have, wandered off for a little bit. You know how it is. Well, you know how I am, rather, how I wander off.
Maybe I'm just confused about which timeline is which, and I am reacting with doubt or confusion.
Okay. Mark a darkness token.
Okay.
How many are you at right now?
3.
Okay. Just let me know when you hit 5.
Yeah. I have the floppy disk, right?
Yes. What are you going to do with it?
Is there a floppy disk acceptor?
There is a tower that has a floppy disk drive.
Perfect. That's the word for it, not vagina, which is where my brain went. We're going to slip it into the disk drive.
Yep. All right. So, would you like to grasp a key?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Maybe grasping a key. Where is that? Is I spend darkness tokens. I will spend a darkness token.
Okay.
And so I will roll with a +1. Oh no, that is a 6.
Okay. Just so you're aware, you can find more than what you're ready to, or you may choose to mark a rune to uncover a key, but in doing so, I reveal how you come closer to becoming a harbinger.
I will mark a ruin.
Oh boy. First of all, before I get into this, Canterbury, please mark a bond with Sassy for the awkward petting. Um, so you describe how you are getting into this floppy disk for me on this computer. We're gonna start with that.
Around for a long time. So I was there when the floppy disk was invented. I did live through the time when floppy disks were all people used. So it's like riding a bike. I slip it in, I go into the computer, I choose the appropriate drive, see what it's got on it.
There are 3 files.
What are they called?
2 have no names. And 1 has Bigfoot.
Very strange. I'm gonna go straight for the Bigfoot one.
You click it.
Yeah.
As you click it, there is a, you know, those old like 1980s grainy film, especially during the height of cryptid sighting. It's the most famous one of the Bigfoot. It's the 2 people that are just sitting on their porch in the backyard and they just see something run across the background. But there is a sense of loneliness. You are alone. You're the last one. You're the last one. You're the last one. And the computer has a speaker that just repeats, "You're the last one." No, you're not the last one. You're the last one. No, you're not the last one. You're the last one. You're the last one. Yes, last one. No, not last one. And it repeats that on a loop, but it's in timing to the video that you are watching. But as you're watching, 0s and 1s kind of appear on the screen as the video is playing. And you see an inverted black pyramid blink on the screen for a moment, vanish. And there is your interview for Division playing on the screen. But you don't remember this. This isn't, you're angry, you're mad, you're throwing things across this room. Someone said something upsetting, and you see Amina just sitting there drinking their coffee, smiling, and writes something down on their clipboard.
And it's definitely me.
It is definitely you.
I mean, that was recently enough that I shouldn't have forgotten it.
But your interview, you recall, went pretty well, and Amina wasn't the one doing your interview.
Okay. But the house makes up stuff.
Does it? Please mark a darkness token for doubting yourself.
Yeah. I put into the back of my mind that am I the last one or not? And if I am not the last one, where is the other one? And why haven't they shown themselves to me? And I will open the top of the 2 untitled ones.
They're empty.
I look at the cat. How was this helpful?
The cat does a little, sits on its back legs and just shrugs.
As you've both seen, apparently I don't remember this happening. I honestly don't remember that couple either. Confused.
I mean, you've traveled far. It's possible you've forgotten some things you've seen. It seems only natural you would.
The couple, yes. I wasn't always watching where I was going. But Amina wasn't there when I interviewed. Very
Would I know
strange.
this
No.
at all? Okay. I didn't think so.
But that sense of loneliness still settles. And there is a tiny thought that goes in your head. If the apocalypse happens, am I going to be the last one standing? I'm going to be the last one. I'm going to be the last one. Like a broken record. Second key has been uncovered.
That is a key. Oh.
I already marked it.
Okay. You marked what the key is.
Mm-hmm. Look at the pinned for our notes, and I've been keeping tabs.
Bigfoot floppy disk. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The other two see as Sassy is looking at something on the computer, but it's Minesweeper on the computer screen. Sassy's playing Minesweeper.
You want to start in the corners. That's what I've been told. You know, Vivian over there in accounting. If you start at the corners and kind of work your way in, you know, you'll be able to solve it. I honestly can't stand Minesweeper. It frustrates me, and you know, it's just a background instead of like the nice decks of solitaire.
What are you talking about? Why are you talking and the computer is yelling at me? Why is there so much going on right now?
You're playing Minesweeper, Sassy. I mean, do you
100%
need
not. I'm watching a make-believe video of myself screaming at Amina.
Oh, you're living the dream then, because the amount of times I've wanted to scream at Fair, ooh, you're living my best life.
You're not seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
No, I see you about, you know, I think you just about got it. You just have to click a few more square, or maybe that's a mine. And so Canterbury's gonna try to like take the mouse and start clicking to try to solve the Minesweeper puzzle.
As you take the mouse, you see the video.
Huh. That's not Minesweeper. I've been hearing about those like virtual games that start out with like weird videos, and then you have to like play it backwards. And if you pause at the right frame, there's like a URL link, and you click on it. Maybe that's what this is, Sassy. Maybe it's one of them ARGs. I think they were calling them, or maybe that's just what that one agent was saying after he stubbed his toe. I'm not sure.
This is my life that we're talking about.
I don't think that's you. I think this is fake. I don't, like Amina talking to people, other people, and like doing interviews. Fair, I don't think Faye likes doing intake, like at all. But I don't know if Faye likes doing anything that Faye can't shove onto me instead. But and so Canterbury's gonna try to pat Sassy on the arm again and try to soothe her. I'm pretty sure this video's fake. Don't even worry about that. I mean, you throwing stuff? I mean, maybe like pillows if we ever had like a cool agent like slumber party. Wouldn't that be fun? We could throw pillows and do that light as a feather, stiff as a board. And
You would have a pillow fight with me?
yeah, I'm pretty sure even if I took a pillow to the face, I wouldn't feel it. After a certain point, when you stay awake for so long, you can't really like feel pain or sadness or, the full weight of your crushing reality. It'd be fun. Oh, and then we could get one of those like old timey ovens and make cupcakes. That'd be fun.
Okay.
This video's fake. Just no. You know what? Actually, I think this thing is yeah, like I said, I think it's a fake video. I think, this computer, this whole thing is just causing too much distress. And so Canterbury's gonna try to find the off button for the monitor to just try to turn it off.
Oh, you find it. It's like the really thin buttons right underneath where the floppy disk eject button is. And you can just push it and it will power it all the way down.
I pop out the floppy though and grab it.
Mm-hmm. Raka?
Worry about it, like, right? Raka, this is just a fake video. Who cares?
Sorry, that pause there was because I could not get my voice to do the voice. Yes. I mean, if I wanted someone to do whatever they could to get away from me or to not investigate, I would so doubt as well. The video is clearly fake.
Hmm. Do you all leave the office?
Yes.
Canterbury picks up the cat again. Eventually one of these times it has to work, is what they're telling themselves.
Okay. So, as you all leave the office, you're outside in a greenhouse. Flowers that are long extinct, some that have been brought back in recent times. And yet, in the center of this greenhouse, there is a spinning black pyramid, immense and hanging upside down in the air. Distorted voices speak at different volumes, and yet a single voice that sounds familiar breaks through. The threads of time cannot take much more. We are running out of chances. We must proceed. So, I am going to ask, let me roll a little die to make this fair. Raka, can you describe for me what are the effects of time breaking down in this room?
So you mentioned the flowers from different eras and times.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like every time Raka catches a glimpse of a flower, it sprouts and blooms and withers all within a blink, as if constantly regrowing, as if time is resetting and accelerated. it's hard to determine what time of day it would be outside because maybe it's because it's gray, or maybe it's because like this area or this plane or wherever we found ourselves is outside of the bounds of the day-night cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And like Raka taps her foot on the ground, and despite it not looking dusty, a big cloud of dust kicks up, almost as if no one has been in here for ages. And as she turns to look behind her, there's also no footsteps in the dust, as if to imply that the dust has also not been disturbed in ages, despite the fact that they just entered the greenhouse. Should the dust not have been disturbed?
As you kick up the dust, there is a muse with large ebony eyes that contain a galaxy, soft and full bodied, and dressed in exquisite finery and silks. They smell of the forest after the rain, and yet she also looks like she stepped out of a Renaissance painting. As he breathes, there's moments of where they look more masculine or more feminine between each breath. They watch you for a moment, the dress shimmering to look like a sunset for one moment, and then twilight or dawn or a rainy day the next. Everything all right?
I think you mentioned galaxies in her eyes, and Sassy also has galaxies in her eyes, and she steps up to him so that their galaxies meet, and she points to some of the flowers that are long extinct and explains, those flowers, called longlias, those we gave to people to symbolize love. And those ones over there, Panonis, those we used to give to signal that we wanted to battle each other. And those ones over there, Gladolias, those we would give to each other when we were in mourning. We quickly, once the humans came, plucked those all from the hillsides.
Z listened for a moment, giving a small nod at the words being spoken. They've been here since as long as I have. Though it's not very often I have visitors showing up to the greenhouse. It's been quite some time. I mean, the house is running out of time.
How can a house that is the oldest house run out of time?
All things must come to an end. Death is part of the cycle, is it not?
Will the house be reborn?
No.
The cycle, it's more linear.
Death is always linear, in no matter what timeline. So it says.
Pyramid mean?
It belongs to it.
So, and she shows them the rotating pyramid, black pyramid on her hand. This is its heartbeat?
I think so. The eyes settle on Canterbury for a moment.
Do I notice that they're looking at me, or?
It's very obvious.
Oh, cool. Canterbury is gonna actually, how tall is Sassy? Like 7 feet, right?
7'2". Yep.
Yeah. Canterbury, being a short king, is gonna stand behind Sassy
Bless.
to try to block the line of sight.
Burnt out potential.
Are you describing the house?
No. The one that is using you as a meat shield.
That's a bit uncalled for. Sassy is a valuable member of well, I actually have not thought of a cool name for us yet for our little group, but Sassy is awesome and not a meat shield. I just don't like being stared at. So I'm hiding back here. It's perfectly normal. It's a normal thing to do. And yeah, I'm burnt out. Everyone's burnt out. I have too much work to do. Have you seen my caseload? It's disgusting, honestly.
They chuckle. I don't know what burning out is like. I was a muse. I inspire. I evoke. I birth creativity.
Burr could birth creativity if they wanted to.
Yes, but in order to create creativity, you must want to do so.
I mean, sometimes I want to make things, but I'm unfortunately too busy. I mean, like, what exactly do you want me to do? Do you want me to start drawing on the floor? I'm sure I've got something in my pockets, maybe to start painting. We could start doing some flower arrangements. Maybe that'll make you happy. And I am asking someone to tell you what to do.
It. They actually chuckle, and there's a bit of a very soft smile on his face. I think it would like that. It'll make the house beautiful again.
Okay, well, that's not too much of a heavy lift, I suppose, huh? So Canterbury's just gonna, I guess, start looking for flowers to pick up and start putting in a vase to take with them.
So, with the flowers, you notice something very odd about the flowers. if you know anything about flowers, all flowers have a language component to them. Most of these flowers are unrequited love, longing, desperation, grief, and one of them easily translates of "I think of you always." Though the most familiar flower out of all of these is the forget-me-not. Forget-me-nots have more than one meaning. The most prevalent that everybody knows is "don't forget me." But "don't forget me" has many meanings. It could mean a romantic aspect. It could be meaning don't forget the memories. But you grab the forget-me-nots. And it feels correct that you need to grab these. Would you think this is a time for you to grasp a key?
Me specifically, I think so.
Okay. Go ahead and do that.
Okay. Hopefully we'll do a little better. Okay, that's one. Let me get you out the way so I don't hit it. I just keep rolling doubles, but at least that's an 8.
Oh, lovely. That's actually really good. So, the forget-me-nots and the vase that you're putting the flowers in are going to be very, very important for later. It may be a way to figure out who the harbinger is. It could be associated with the door. It could be associated with the memories that y'all keep getting scrambled. But forget-me-nots are an important key factor.
I think Canterbury, after looking at the forget-me-not, just kind of is like thinking to themselves and then just kind of shrugs and just tucks one behind their ear and then turns to Raka and Sassy like, what do you think? Does this maybe this will help me have a more cheerful disposition, as Amina keeps telling me to have, instead of, well, I don't remember that employee's name, that one agent who says that I constantly look like my soul has been sucked out from my elbows. Elbows don't,
Oh, Patricia.
I don't know what that.
Patricia never seemed to make much sense to me either.
Yeah,
It
Patricia's
is a lovely flower.
Patricia's here. They're in the house.
like in our thoughts, like because we're talking about Patricia, or
The muse is still sitting there.
I think division and the house are becoming one.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Can I touch the pyramid?
Yeah! Let me look. Yeah, you can touch it. What is your darkness that demands of you again?
To resurrect my people at the expense of humanity, or destroy all life on Earth.
So, this is going to be a torn in between.
Okay.
You get to pick one of the following. Let your monstrous nature show and describe the damage your outburst causes. Mark 1 rune. Describe how you diminish your power and conform to the pressures of humanity and lose all darkness tokens. Or spend a bond with someone. Describe how they directly or inadvertently help you regain control.
What's the first one?
Let your monstrous nature show and describe the damage your outburst causes, and you mark a ruin.
Those galaxies in Sassy's eyes begin spinning, and the black patches in her skin begin growing out as spikes. And she grabs one of those spikes and stabs the Black Pyramid, pushing void magic into it to unmake it.
So, on that note, the two of you are witnessing Sassy losing themselves in the moment after touching the thing that is spinning upside down from the ceiling.
Raka, should we do something about that? Sassy doesn't seem. This seems kind of out of character for Sassy.
Raka will nod without saying anything else, unfurling her wings and flying just high enough to try and intercept.
Okay, so just for context, this would be in Unleashing the Dark.
Okay.
Which is when you unleash the dark within you to enforce your will on someone physically, socially, or emotionally, spend darkness tokens and roll.
I think I have a specific thing for this. So I'm trying to force my will emotionally because I'm trying to connect with Sassy's past and the past connections we share. So I'm going to use the ruin move, Tremble Before Me.
Okay. And what
Your
is...
words once swayed gods and broke the gates of heaven. When you speak in your true and ancient voice, all living mortals are driven to despair. When you unleash the dark and enforce your will socially or emotionally, you may choose to mark a ruin. If you do, treat the move as if you rolled an 8 to a 10 and choose 4 options instead of 2.
All right. So, the options are the following. Get past their defenses, and you get to inflict a condition on Sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Get what you want from them. Avoid reprisals, harm, or cost. Gain the upper hand for now. Expose a weakness or flaw. Or confuse them for some time.
Okay, I don't want to hurt Sassy, which is a big growth moment for Raka because Not that Raka ever intentionally wants to hurt anyone,
Mm-hmm.
but Raka recognizes in this moment it's, hey, like, this could destroy you. Like, we don't know. Let's not do that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, get what you want from them, which is to stop.
Okay.
Avoid reprisals, harm, or cost.
Okay.
So this is like a shield or an interrupt sort of move.
Okay.
Gain the upper hand for now, in which case the upper hand being influence over Sassy to not stab the pyramid.
Yep.
And confuse them for some time, because this is a move that Raka would not normally do.
Okay.
So that in and of itself is confusing.
So you two play it out. Let's go.
Well, so
Raka's-
you see the spikes growing out of the things, and she's starting to grab one. And we've worked together long enough that you know that something is coming out of that.
Raka's normally lilting, sort of sighing almost voice drops. I hope I can hit this note because it's going real low. Sasquatch. Stop. But in the tongue that we both once spoke.
So Sassy has pulled out one of the spikes and is going to drive it in, and hears that, and hearing the old tongue is frozen and confused for a second because it's been so long since she's heard it. She's also reacting with confusion.
Canterbury. How are you feeling and how are you responding to the scene that is playing out before you? And are you keeping an eye out for other things that may be occurring in the room?
So I think having seen Raka fly off and go to help Sassy, I think I think Canterbury has like, you know, like one eye kind of on the situation, but has faith that Raka can manage, and then like, you know, so like they're like half they're like like they're turned away slightly from the situation because they're thinking, okay, this will get handled. Someone competent is on the job, and also just kind of just in general keeping an eye out on things. Because yeah, I feel like that's probably in Canterbury's nature. So I think they were concerned that Sassy was like stabbing the pyramid, but also getting a chance to see Raka be like super cool and commanding is like, oh, okay, you know, this is nice. I like this. This should continue. Yay, my favorite thing. And like, oh yeah, I should probably just make sure nothing else weird is gonna happen. Since all the weird stuff for the most part has been happening to Canterbury. It's like, you know, it's like in the back of their mind, they're like, this would be a perfect moment for this weird house to make me disappear again.
As you're looking around, you're still in the greenhouse. But the muse that you saw earlier, known as Sister Midnight, which I'm now revealing the name, she's no longer in here. Zay went off. But the cat is still there, staring up at you for a moment, and yet there's no flowers in this greenhouse. It's bones. Covered in cobwebs.
The flowers.
Your forget-me-nots are fine.
Okay.
But there's cobwebs, there's bones, the pyramid is gone. But you see a couple of feathers flit down and hit the ground. They look similar to Raka's, but they're not. They just lay there in the middle of all this dust, grime. cobwebby room.
Be able to tell whether or not the bones are like human bones or like animal bones, like not the specific animals, but I feel like, there's a difference between like a human leg and like a horse leg,
Okay, so there is a mix of human, animal, even monstrous. There is even easiest way to explain it, the bone setup of like a siren, the traditional siren. Other creatures. You even see like horseshoes, among other things that make sense but don't make sense to be here. Like horseshoes being in a greenhouse, that makes sense because in a lot of traditional places, hanging a horseshoe over the doorway is a form of protection against the fae. Or having a horseshoe in your house is a way to invite brownies into your home, which is a fae story. So there's like a lot of mix of like human and old mythos and animals mixed in here. But it just smells dusty. Because dust after a certain time, if a room has been closed, it gets a smell.
Kat, why are there so many bones just in here?
That's from all of the people that have gotten lost in here over the many millennia.
Okay, and the bones didn't. I get. Wait, is the dust bone dust?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, on the one hand, that's super messed up. On the other hand, and Canterbury's gonna stoop down and start scooping up some of the bone dust and like getting a little baggie and putting it in and continuing their thought. And like on the other hand, there's a lot you can do with bone dust. So I'm just gonna and just tucks that into the back pocket of their slacks.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot you can do with bone dust. Especially in some forms of magic. The cat is watching you curiously as you're scooping up this bone dust and putting it in a baggie. They tilt their head and they may got a vague idea of what you're doing and just gave a little nod of understanding. And they look over to see if Raka has managed to calm Sassy down. Shall we continue our tour?
Is there nothing else to be done here?
You see the bones and the dust and the cobwebs.
All the flowers are gone.
We still got the ones in the vase that I've got in Canterbury. Just kind of jiggles the vase full of forget-me-nots. Oh, is the flower that Canterbury tucked behind their ears, that one still there?
It's still there.
And we've got there's still the new one, the one that I'm gonna keep as I guess fashion. So that's probably that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Are you feeling better, Sassy? Did you? I mean, I get it. I sometimes just want to break stuff too. I probably shouldn't, but I want to. Do you feel better having stabbed the geometric object?
Thing about this house. We should hurry to figure out what it is.
Yeah, and then I think we should condemn it. You know, like get like the big caution tape and just like a big keep out. And I mean, like look at all these bones. This thing definitely isn't suitable for visitation.
And here I was hoping we would burn it.
If we
I'm-
burn it, we should probably wait till it's not attached to division, or at the very least when we're not in it. I mean, like nobody likes Dennis anyway, so
I mean, he's occasionally useful. And you're right.
he plays free cell.
Nobody's perfect. Least of all mortals.
Oh my god.
I'm just worried that this place is going to turn into nothingness. I think we should move faster.
I can't argue with wanting to get this over with.
I don't know if I really have like a fast walk, but we'll see what I can do with all these bones of mine. And for like a half second, it's just a normal statement, and then Canterbury remembers, like looks around again at all the bones, and it's just like, oh no, that I wasn't joking. This was a terrible people died. Like I wasn't trying to. We should just go.
I need all of you to roll to follow the cat.
Okay. Also, can I claim darkness tokens for reacting with arrogance
Yes.
in trying to stop Sassy?
Yes, you may.
I have a question about darkness tokens. So every time that we do something that's like related to gaining them, it says I gain 2 to 4. How do you know like what amount you get?
Whatever you think is appropriate. I have no control over that.
Oh.
Okay. Okay,
I
because I've been
regret
keeping
to
track.
inform you, I rolled an 11.
I've just been gaining 1. I will stop gaining. I will start gaining more than 1. I have spent a token, and that gives me an 8.
Okay.
I did not spend a token, but I still got an 8.
Okay, cool. We'll start with the 8 to 10s first. You get to pick one. You find a friendly face. You find an object from the oldest cat that can help you. You find evidence from your past self about what to do next.
I have a question relating to that. If I pick the past self option telling me what to do next, will that also trigger my darkness token gain of asking someone to tell you what to do?
Yes.
Oh, that because I'm sitting at like 4 darkness tokens. So if I get another, that'll put me at 5.
Take the cat thing, and I'll take the remember what the past said.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Yeah, hold on. Let me look at because my torn between is different from y'all's torn between. Huh. Yeah, okay. That makes because like narratively none of those options really like feel good in the moment. So yeah, I'll do the cat.
Okay. Also for Raka, you also get to pick one of the above options, but you're gonna get a bit of a challenge coming up.
Okay. I'll take the last one was like something to help us figure out what's next, right?
Yes.
I'll take that.
Oh, good. I hoped you would. Perfect. So, you all find a way to another room in the house. You find thousands of cubicles as far as the eye can see. Each cubicle has a CRT monitor that has static. So, where we were was a bunch of CRT computer screens with ink dripping off the desks in this room. And there's thousands and thousands of cubicles as far as the eye can see. And yet, I would like to ask you, let's start with Canterbury this time. What ritual sigils or signs do you recognize on the screens and on the desks?
I think there is a sigil that is on the screen that matches one that is directly one of the arcane sigils that is on Canterbury's body, specifically where their liver would be.
Okay.
Which my sibling would get mad at me if I got the side wrong, because I'm bad with organs. But it's on that side, the side that your liver is on, that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on the desk are are some sigils that perhaps I think that Canterbury has seen them in their dreams. And were sigils that they just sort of try to ignore, because I think it just reminds them too much of dark futures and promises that they've been fighting against, and just kind of creep them out.
Raka,
Mm-hmm.
what are the computers summoning?
Ooh. Part of me thinks it's it, whatever it is. But
Speaking,
part of me thinks that's maybe a bit too much power.
no,
She's feeling arrogant about it. Like,
that's fine.
that.
Because your arrogance is gonna hit you like Icarus getting too close to the sun. Here in a second.
Okay.
You recognize a couple of these sigils. They're old. They're ancient. And you remember a story of a god that fell. They were the god of predicting the future, the past, and the present. They're not a fate, but they're aligned with an oracle. A lot of the gods did not believe them for a very, very long time, very much akin to the curse of Cassandra. However, this ancient oracle, you remember hearing stories from the god of wrath about how a god was punished for falling in love. And cursed for such a weakness. And yet, they are now the embodiment of eternal yearning. A collection of unreality and untruth. Desire. But you see them standing before you, that being, that God. What powers of darkness do you have on your sheet?
Fear manipulation
You no
and
longer
weapons of light and sound.
have access to fear manipulation.
Oh.
You feel as a piece of you is torn away. And a bit of the darkness going away. As if you're being slightly undone, unmade. And then you pull yourself back into the room and you're drawing the sigils onto the desk with the ink that is spilling over one of the cubicles. The upside down black pyramid. Over and over and over again. And all you see with the words is the word undone, unmade. Time goes away. The other two are just watching Raka finger painting on one of the desks.
Very efficiently, too, since she has 4 hands with which to do so.
Uh-huh.
I would like to do Tragedy's Long Shadow.
Okay. And what does that do?
You will do whatever it takes to avoid the tragedy that befell your people. So when you're in a tense situation and see echoes of that tragedy, tell the keeper what you fear will happen, spend darkness tokens, and roll. And so what Sassy is afraid is going to happen is that we are going to be lost in this endless field of cubicles, just like her people were lost to the world.
Okay.
And I will spend a darkness token.
Mm-hmm.
Yes! 7 is the most likely number to come up on 2 6-sided dice, so it's always good to spend a darkness token. That is an 8.
Okay, what does an 8 do for you?
You know exactly how your friends can avoid the worst of what is to happen. Each PC around you gains 1 bond with you.
Hey! So, if I recall, also in this moment, as y'all were going through the house, one of you picked an item from the cat, and one of you picked evidence from your past self about what to do next.
2 of us did.
Yes.
Raka and Sassy.
So, we'll start with what Canterbury finds in this maze of cubicles. You find a very familiar charm bracelet, golden in nature, laying on the floor with wisps of white, coarse hair.
Upon seeing that, you just hear Canterbury swear loudly and just, just so tired, but picks up the charm bracelet. It's just like, of course this is here.
The charm bracelet has like a bunch of different charms. One's like a little unicorn. One is a little poodle, or another one is a little fairy, a 4-leaf clover. Very basic on the charms. It's like the traditional charm bracelet, not like the modern like Pandora ones or the Italian ones where you put it on your hand and it just pinches your skin. Not one of those. It's a traditional, very old school charm bracelet. You've seen Amina wear this on a couple of occasions. Fair, don't wear it when there are mission days, for the possibility of losing it. Fair are very overly possessive when it comes to that bracelet, though you do not know why. As for the other two, one of you finds a message written in ink on one of the desks that says, "The director's office. Go to the director's office." And it is written in Sassy's handwriting. Quick. A little shaky. But it's right there. Raka, you find the email that y'all saw at the very, very beginning of all this. Yet at the bottom, the signature as to who it was is yours.
What did that email say again?
I will read it again. Omen class monsters. Several personnel agents and Omen class monsters have been reported missing, changed, or terminated. Black alert protocols activated. Do not approach the oldest house. It does not exist. Its lies are ancient and inescapable. It is hungry and cannot be sated. The oldest cat has come to me in my dreams and has purred against what's left of my heart. But I can't remember. I can't remember what the oldest house wants me to do. I need it to disappear. I need to become changed and unchanged, body and unbody. And please don't open the door. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. Don't open the door. I don't want to. Please, please, please. And at the last word, I don't want to. Please, please, please. All it says is be unmade. And in very tiny thing, there's an urge where you want to highlight an email. So, you know, like with some emails, there is a thing that people hide in emails with white font. It says, "Don't trust Amina."
This actually might be a good moment then for I wanted to advance my personal doomsday clock, Spiral in Shadows.
Okay.
Because I want to spend a bond with my handler Amina, and I can choose one question to put to the keeper, who will answer it honestly and with great detail. Okay. And I think the one that is most important that relates to this moment is, what did my handler do in the past that is now affecting this investigation?
The first thing that comes to mind is existing. But the house responds in a way that feels comforting. Amina's mythos and story originated in this house. As it was said about this house, new folklore, new mythologies are born out of this house once it moves on. Amina's story started in this house. Amina is the oldest member of Division. One could say they're as old as the house itself. Mm-hmm. But there's a possibility Amina's the one that may have connected Division to the house. So Faye can go home. And I think this is a good, healthy spot to leave where we are for our mystery. So we are going to ask our questions like we do at the end of every session. Y'all discovered 2 keys this episode. So we're going to start with the very bottom. for the questions. Did you uncover at least a key of the apocalypse or unlock Doom's door? If you did not, mark 1 rune on your sheet. Did you learn
So
something? I think the only one,
think
Raka.
Raka, yeah.
We're gonna get you a key next episode, I promise. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster?
Well, that depends if we believe the video or not.
Yeah, I mean, Canterbury saw Sassy's video, but Canterbury was also very quick to say that it was, a simulated fake video, especially because Amina was there. So, I mean, like, learn and believe are 2 different things. So,
I will say learn. I will say you did learn, because believe is something completely different, but you did learn something.
Okay.
I feel like I learned that Raka still remembers the old language.
Okay, I will allow that. Did you learn something significant about yourself and or impending rune? I think all of you did.
And did you express your monstrous nature?
Or express your humanity?
I definitely expressed my monstrous nature. Trying to attack that thing.
No, really.
I'd argue I probably did as well.
You did.
Canterbury, it was just more of their humanity trying to support and console Sassy.
Yep.
But eventually, Canterbury's going to hit sicko mode.
I cannot wait for that. Okay. So, for your impulses, what is the question you chose and how are you going to answer it?
So I shared a story of my people and what we lost with the flower languages that we had and the types of flowers that we had.
Okay. Raka?
I did not solve my impulse this session, I believe.
Okay.
Because mine was, did you taunt or seduce those who would seek to destroy you?
Not yet.
And I have not. No, I've interfaced with mostly each other and then like the muse a little bit. I mean, actually, I didn't actually really interact with muse at all. So I did not succeed my impulse this time.
Canterbury.
Was, did you entangle another in the schemes of your handler? And this one, I'm not 100% certain. Does the house count as an entity as itself?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Then yes, I would say that I entangled it in the schemes of the handler, since we learned that Amina is part of the house, born in the house, has visitation rights with the house. Something is going on there, so.
Tune in next week to see where we go into our House of Mysteries.
I also XP advanced.
Okay, so with an XP advance, you are aware what you can do for advancements, correct?
Yeah. I just don't know, what is a last move? Oh, a last being I'm the last. Okay.
Yep.
I understand.
Okay. And on that note, we are gonna skedaddle.